Hello, I'm Andrew,
And I'm Sam.
and this is Teens Talk Politics, and this episode will be, I don't know what number we are now, but the next news video for this week. Not much has actually happened this week. We do have key bullet points that we're going to be following in the next 20-30 minutes for this podcast. So the first story is going to be going along with the Capitol insurrection that from 6 months from, was it Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
No, it wasn't Sunday. It was like Tuesday or something. Was 6 months to the date of January 6th insurrection. And more Florida men have now been convicted and charged with attacking Capitol police officers at the Capitol. And Sam, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's good that the DOJ stepped in because the January 6th Commission is still being, and the January 6th, the January 6th Commission in the House hasn't really done anything yet. They're still trying to assemble, and so it's good that the DOJ stood in for the fact that these people need to be held accountable for these actions after attacking the police officers, unfortunately, some were injured and Officer Goodman shot. Not shot, but killed. Or I don't know. But it's unfortunate that it took the government this long to finally charge some of these actual people seeking violence. Like, I know a lot of people there were just trying to storm the thing to try to take over the government. But a lot of these people were attacking people, and it's good that the DOJ finally starting to crack down on this stuff while the January 6th Commission can't.
Yeah, and that's a good point, how you're saying it's taking it this long to finally convict these people and charge these people, because it's been 6 months. It did not need to take 6 months to find all these people. If we'd actually gotten an investigation early enough, then this would have happened months ago. But the fact that many House Republicans, many Senate Republicans don't want us to have a full-fledged investigation really shows their true colors of what they actually care about. Do they care about showing the true colors of the former president, or do they want to protect the former president's name, saying he did not incite this violence, even though there's obvious evidence to show that he did? And another thing that you mentioned was about how the DOJ was the one that actually stood up and went after these people, while, like I said before, Senate Republicans and House Republicans blocked an investigation, causing them not to be able to investigate these people thoroughly, and that's why the Department of Justice had to really step in. And I think, like I said, it's taken way too long for this to happen. This should have happened months ago. I think it's really at fault for these House and Senate Republicans, and it really shows what they care about. Do they care about, like I said, protecting the Trump name, or going after these criminals? And I think that if someone with real character in the Republican Party, like Liz Cheney, that agreed with Democrats that there needed to be an investigation, Adam Kinzinger is another one, Susan Collins is another one in the House, in the Senate, sorry. And they actually thought that, yes, something happened at the Capitol, and we all saw it, and it needs to be investigated. Of course, you have people like Ted Cruz, like Kevin McCarthy, that don't want to investigate it because they want to protect Trump, and that's all they care about. Because in their mind, if they protect Trump, that they can win future elections just because Trump endorsed this candidate, or if Trump actually ends up on the ballot. But what has been shown is that's not true. Trump endorsed both the candidates in Georgia. Both of them lost. And if Trump probably hadn't interfered with that election, they probably would have won. So the fact that Republicans in the House, the Senate, and all around, basically, now at this point, because a majority of Republicans do support the former president, and the fact that they still think that Trump is how you win an election, I think is going to be the downfall of the party. And I guess this is getting off topic now, but I think this is something that they need to keep in mind.
Yeah, it's just absurd.
They lost. They lost the House, they lost the Senate, and they lost the presidency because of Trump.
Mm-hmm. So you either gotta stop being jerks and being Trumpish, or reclaim your party back and actually work for the good of the American people, right?
Right. And, yeah. So I think this basically wraps up the story. There's not much else to say. Do you have anything to say to wrap this section up?
Yeah, besides the fact that this is obviously absurd and that the Republicans need to step up, and Republicans in the House and Senate need to step up and actually start start holding these people responsible for undermining our democracy.
Yeah. Okay, so our next section of this podcast is going to be talking about the vaccine rollout to different countries internationally. And on this bullet point, I did recognize that Sam actually put Latin America, which is what we're going to be talking about, to LA, which is LA, the city, Los Angeles, or also the abbreviation for Louisiana. So that was very misleading. But yes, we're the poor countries, like in Latin America, not necessarily Brazil, it's a pretty wealthy country, but places like Venezuela, Colombia, Chile, Argentina. And I think it's very important for us to understand, we have so many vaccines in the United States. And most of the people that actually want to be vaccinated have now been vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to start sharing with other countries that are not as fortunate or not as wealthy that can purchase these vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
Places like in Africa, places like in the Middle East, places like Latin America and South America, right? And I think this is very important for the president to understand, and it looks like he has. He's organized vaccines to be able to go to Latin America. Because to hit herd immunity, yes, we can hit herd immunity just in the United States. But to really kill a pandemic is for everyone in the entire world globally to be vaccinated. So everybody in the world can hit herd immunity, every single country. Because otherwise that virus is still out there. It can still hurt people. And the pandemic can come back because it can mute with other groups of people. Mutate, not mute. Mutate with other groups of people. And can cause it to go over the vaccine, and the vaccine wouldn't be effective anymore. So it's very important for us to vaccinate everybody, not just a set group of people, like in wealthy countries like the United States, like in Europe. Of course, the European Union hasn't done as well vaccinating people, but it's a work in progress. At least they're trying. Mm-hmm. Not to say that the poor countries aren't trying, but they just don't have money to be able to do anything. So Sam, do you have any major thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's very good. I think also taking a step back from like Trumpism, I think it's very good that America's kind of showing their. It's really good that America's trying to show their support to other countries instead of it being like an enclosed kind of Trump style of this is our stuff, we bought this. Which is kind of like Operation Warp Speed was contained to the United States, but now I think it's good that Biden's trying to expand just to benefit the entire world and the American people as a whole.
Right, and the whole American first rhetoric, really showed other countries that America, wasn't going to be with them, wasn't going to support our allies, and I think it really didn't help America's standing in the world. And now that we have a new president that understands that we need to support our allies. In America, yes, we want to prioritize your own country, but you don't want to completely ignore everybody else. So the rhetoric coming from the former President Trump about America First isn't really good for our country. I mentioned in the July 4th special that we had on Tuesday that America is still a superpower, but we need to show that we're a superpower. We're supposed... Like, a superpower is supposed to control, basically, the globe. That's why it's called a superpower. But to focus on our own country isn't very healthy. We need to not hurt other countries, but we need to help them. We need to give other people vaccines so we can defeat this pandemic globally. And these are major stepping stones for the president, Joe Biden, to get us back on that trail, to be the superpower in the world. So allies can respect us and expect America to always be there to help if there needs to be help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that wraps up that segment. And this one, the next segment is going to be about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think everybody's probably heard about her now. She's a brand new congresswoman from Georgia. She came in January, so she's been here for half a year, and she's already done all this crap. So this is major news. because she's now comparing Biden's vaccine push to the Holocaust again. Before, she had made comments about how people trying to get people vaccinated was like how Jews were treated in the Holocaust. And now she's doing the exact same thing after condemning her own actions a month ago. Wasn't a month ago? Probably a little less than a month ago. And now she's doing it again. This really shows me that she or any of her colleagues have not learned her lesson. Because no, it's not her colleague saying this, not her Republican colleague saying this. But she's part of that party. And for her to, and Kevin McCarthy wants her to be representing the party. And he likes where Marjorie Taylor Greene's going with this. So yes, this is really representing the Republican Party, showing what is the Republican about. What is the Republican Party about? And it's really about these conspiracy theories, like, oh, this vaccine push is like the Holocaust, even though it's nowhere near how horrible the Holocaust was.
Mm-hmm.
She's been doing crazy things like that, like comparing Democrats to Nazis.
Yeah.
And things like this isn't going to help our country progress, be less divisive. This is only creating a stronger divide between the two parties.
Yeah, I think...
Things like this doesn't want the other party to work together, right?
Yeah, I think as soon as the Republicans kind of lost their weapon, Trump, under their belt, they've been going in, instead of surrendering to the majority, the Democratic majority in the House, Senate, and the Democratic president. I think instead they've chose the option of grit and teeth and bones, trying to make sure that nobody can get off scot-free. And Marjorie Taylor Greene and her colleagues and her Trumpist colleagues are definitely not going to surrender anytime soon to the Biden agenda, because I think they're only like, it's either one this way or the highway, right? Like they've either got to be weak, and you can see their point. They're either going to lose their jobs because their job revolves around them being Trump's giant Trump supporters, or they gotta go grit and teeth, trying to defend the Republican Party in the most vigorous ways possible via these horrific remarks about referring to the Holocaust and all that stuff.
Right, I think this is going to be very detrimental to the Republican Party. Once the Republican Party understands that sharing conspiracy theories like this, like QAnon, and like crazy things like this, much to their chagrin, yes, they're going to start understanding that this is how you lose elections. Following Trump, following Marjorie Taylor Greene, isn't how you're going to win. It's just going to hurt the party. And what has been shown is that races they should have won. They should have won in Georgia. They lost, right? They should have won. Trump should have won Georgia easily, but he lost. He should have probably won Arizona as well, but he lost. And it's all because of this rhetoric coming from him. Lies, slander, conspiracy theories. And this is not helping the party whatsoever. Marjorie Taylor Greene comparing Biden's vaccine push is not going to help them. And I don't understand why they think it will. So I really think this is a major downfall of how this party is going to die. Unless they change their points of view, the party is going to die. There's not going to be enough people that believe these conspiracy theories anymore as long as Democrats control power. And is what has been seen right now is Democrats have gotten popular vote every single time in the 21st century except once. So it really shows us that, yes, Democrats have a larger population of people that believe that Democrats should be in control than Republicans do. And I think there's going to be more and more people shifting leftward, with more people becoming 18 so they can vote, which is just showing that the younger generation is more progressive than the older generation. And also people that are like, I'm not going to vote for Republicans that share crap like this. I don't like the Democrats, but I prefer the Democrats over the Republicans because the Democrats don't share stupid conspiracy theories. And this is how your party dies. I don't understand why Marjorie Taylor Greene thinks this is the way for their party. It shouldn't be. And it used to be that the Republican Party, I didn't agree with anything they did. At least their characteristics, their character as politicians weren't terrible. They aren't anymore. They're not good human beings. There's a select few that are. But just in general, if you believe that tearing parents or kids away from their parents is good, if you believe that vaccinating people is like the Holocaust, then I'm sorry. But it's not okay. And this is not how you win elections anymore. This is not going to help their party, and this is how the party is going to die. Right?
Yeah, I think without having that mask that is Trump, like that shield and that wall that is Trump that's protecting the Republican Party from doing all these horrible things, it really, once that power was taken away from them, once the executive branch was out of reach, it looks that you can really see the true side of the Republican Party and what they'll do to get their way.
Right. And I think after that long rant I just did, I think it's we're about to move on to our last point. And this also goes back into the Holocaust and what happened in World War II. And this is a book that was recently released telling people that Trump did praise Hitler while he was in France commemorating the Holocaust. And he says that Hitler did good things for the economy and stimulated the economy. But no matter what you do, no matter who you are, to praise Hitler for anything, I think is very unjust, regardless of whether it was... Like, yes, the economy grew. But look at all the other things that he did that were horrible. No matter who it is, you shouldn't be commemorating him whatsoever.
Yeah. And also, to bring it back to the point, the reason the economy grew wasn't just because that Hitler was smart, right? He started mobilizing the entire country for war and trying to push millions of people into these giant concentration camps to basically do free and expendable labor for the country. In no way did he return to the economy by any justifiable means. The only way he was able to return the economy was by cruel and terrible punishment to the world and to many citizens living in Germany at the time.
Yes, and yes, Hitler did expand the amount of land that Germany had. It helped Germany become a superpower temporarily. And it helped Germany in the short run, but once the war was over, they were split between the Allies and the Soviet Union. So to say that, yes, Hitler might have done good things for the country in the short term, he did not help anybody that was not in that country, or anybody that wasn't, that was Jewish in that country, right? He did horrible things, and to commemorate him for anything is rightfully, morally wrong. And if there's, I think that's about it to say, unless Sam has anything to add on.
Yeah, it's just, what a weird week.
Right, not much happened, but this video is almost 20 minutes long, so... Alright, so thank you for watching. Make sure you tune in to next week's video. Sam will not be there, so it's going to be me on my own. However, on Thursday, Sam's not going to be there. Or sorry, Friday, Sam's not going to be there either, but I will be inviting somebody, so make sure you tune in for that. It comes out at 3 p.m. And thank you for watching. Bye.
Yep, bye.